Hello, welcome to the Bible Seminary podcast. We're excited today. We have a special guest with us, Kip Thomson. We're going to be talking about the partnership between the Bible Seminary and the Colson Fellows. So I want to welcome Kip. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you could just tell us a little bit of your story personally, how you got involved with Colson Fellows, and what Colson Fellows is all about for our students and supporters who maybe haven't heard of Colson Fellows.
Great. Happy to do that. So I found out about the Chuck Colson and his work when I was deciding to become a Christian or not, a long time ago, and I read his seminal book, How Now Shall We Live? And I loved the way he thought through this process of creation, fall, redemption, restoration, not the truncated gospel that we often talk about, which is just fall and
the whole holistic gospel.
Right. And so as I started following along with Breakpoint, which is a daily
radio show,
it's actually just like a 3-minute talk that they give each day on some current issue that's out there and how to think about it from a Christian perspective. They started talking about this Colson Fellows Program that they had.
Yeah.
And so about 7 years ago, I finally made the effort, made the commitment, signed up, and I loved it. I went through it, and there was an option to start regional programs.
So after you went through and became a Colson Fellow, then you had the opportunity to lead a regional group.
Right. So I started that up in Houston about 6 years ago. We're on our 6th class right now.
Awesome.
And I recruited a team to help me, a couple folks here from Katy and a guy from Siena Ranch, a pastor from down there. And we started up the 1st class, and now we're on our
your 6th class.
6th class.
Wow,
and
that's awesome.
And so that's Houston, but there's literally 65 of those in different cities around the country and around the world now, because they're all over the world. And now there's 75 churches that have taken the same content and decided this will be a great part of our advanced discipleship, disciples who make disciples kind of program.
So tell us about that. You called it a class. You talked about advanced discipleship. What is Colson Fellows? What does it mean to go through the process and become a Colson Fellow?
Yeah, so it's a 10-month program. We read books. We watch videos. We participate in webinars with Christian thought leaders, a couple of those a month.
All right.
There's a daily devotional that's very well thought out that gets you in the Bible and takes you through the whole creation, fall, redemption, restoration concept. And then at the beginning of each month, we get together face to face and we process the content from the earlier month as a way to really drive home the concepts and iron sharpening iron with fellow classmates.
So throughout the month, people are reading, they're watching the videos, they're engaging in the devotional, and then they get to come together every month and talk about what they've been reading, what they've been learning, and really put those ideas into practice with each other and talk about how to put them in practice in the world.
Right, and there's sort of a process that we walk through in that. So we go from the big picture in August to a worldview. What is a worldview in Christian history in September? We do apologetics in October. We do new worldviews, things like progressive Christianity and expressive individualism. In November, we do Islam and a couple of those other kinds of worldviews in December. And that's really all understanding worldview and getting
So it's not just digging into the Christian worldview, it's digging into the Christian worldview in context and conversation with other worldviews that are out there.
Right, because apologetics and a call to evangelism is an important part of our walk as Christians. Right. Understanding how other people think help you to help them realize why the Christian worldview is accurate and their thought process is
and to bridge those gaps and to communicate in a way that we can actually connect and understand and share a compelling vision of the gospel with people around us.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So that's what we do first semester. Second semester, then we start digging into the issues.
Okay.
So we take on culture and how is culture formed and how is culture shaped, and we talk about abortion in January. In February, we do critical theory and social justice and those kind of issues. In March, we tackle sexuality and all the issues associated with that, which are,
So all the big hot button issues that we are hearing about and encountering day in and day out on the news, at work, at school, digging deep into those issues.
Right. To help people propose solutions aligned with the biblical worldview. Right. Because we have one of our sayings is ideas have consequences and bad ideas have victims. And there are a lot of victims in the world right now. We have the truth, right? And so we need to figure out how, we all need to be trained up on how to propose that truth winsomely to people in a way that they can consider that for themselves.
So the program runs August through June of each year. It's on like this annual cohort cycle.
Right. Yeah, and most of it happens a little earlier than that. So in May, we really conclude with how are we going to take action? How are we going to move forward? Chuck Colson was a Marine. There is no graduation. It's commissioning, right? So you're getting sent out at the end to go be a soldier for Christ.
And even that's integrated into the process, right? There's a personal ministry plan and different things that the fellows develop along the way that really push them out into action, deploy them for action.
Yeah, this is not a class for people who just want to learn.
Right.
We expect two things. We expect you to teach biblical worldview at some point to a small group, and so we have lots of curriculums that you can do that, but we expect you to, why you teach? Because that's a key part of getting the word out. Right. And second, when you have to teach something, you learn it better.
That's when you learn it better. Absolutely.
That's right. You know that, I'm sure, as you're teaching a lot.
Right? I've figured that out over the years. Yeah, the more I teach it, the more I truly understand it.
Right. And the second component is we want you to use it somehow.
Yeah.
So God's put you in the place that you're in for a reason. He's given you the experiences and the strengths and the passions that you have, and so we want you to think about from that perspective. And from this idea of we're God's restorative agents. So we're in that time frame in the Bible between when Christ came the first time and when he's coming the second time. Right? And so our challenge is, how do we participate as God's restorative agents, right? And so what is good that we can promote? What is broken that we can fix? What is missing that we can add? Or what is evil that we can stop?
Awesome.
And that's one of the books we read, goes into that. That's the last book we read. And so we challenge people thinking about those four ideas, thinking about where you are in life and your experiences and your past. What is your personal mission plan?
Awesome. So this isn't just for pastors or people who consider themselves leaders of some kind in a church. This is for anyone, any follower of Christ who wants to learn how to engage culture and share their faith and understand their faith.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
awesome.
As a way to be a disciple who makes disciples. Right?
Yeah.
As a way to bring God's light into the world. We're training up people to do that.
Well, I'm about to pivot a little bit, but I don't want to cut off anything else you want to share about Colson Fellows before I kind of talk about the partnership that we've developed with the Bible Seminary. Is there anything else you'd like to share about Colson Fellows?
Yeah, I think we talked a lot about the key points. I just think it's a great next step for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Not for everyone, but for a lot of people, it's a great next step on their spiritual journey. Absolutely. And so there's lots of places to get more information about that and figure out if it's
ColsonFellows.org, right? Would be the number one stop.
.org. And then there's we have a little bit more detail on our website, so ColsonFellowsHouston.org has information.
So you've got a dedicated website just for the Houston region.
Houston region.
Awesome.
And the meetings, just to clarify, we meet once a month, typically the first Saturday of the month. Here in Katy, and it's 4 or 5 hours of robust discussion.
Awesome. So you meet here in Katy. Where have you been meeting the last couple of years?
At the Bible Seminary.
At the Bible Seminary. So tell me, how'd you get connected to the Bible Seminary? Hear about us? End up hosting the meetings here. How did that come about?
So we were looking for a meeting room. It just so happens that Dr. Lewis's son and my daughter dated their senior year, so I got to know Dr. Lewis that way. And
it didn't turn into a marriage between them.
No, it did. In fact, he broke up with her. He broke up with her between prom and graduation, which none of the four of us thought was a really good idea. But I just approached him and said, "You guys, is anyone in your place on Saturday morning?" And it works out that the facilities really don't get used on Saturday morning. It's a great setup for us. It's got great audio, visual, and nice classroom environment. And so we've been meeting here.
So you've met here the last two cohorts?
No, since the beginning, 6 years.
Oh wow, all 6 years. Awesome.
6 years we've met here. Yep.
And so we've been doing that, kind of building relationship and understanding between Colson Fellows and the Bible Seminary. And now for this cohort, starting 2023 through 2024, we're going to kick off a partnership, something we've never done before. We're excited about it. And so with this partnership, we actually have the opportunity for our students or students from other seminaries, people who maybe have never gone to seminary but have an interest. We have an opportunity for people to go through Colson Fellows and earn up to 6 graduate credit hours from our fully accredited Bible Seminary program. So we have these 2 classes that we've designated: Apologetics, which fits right in with the first 2 quarters of Colson Fellows, and then an elective credit that fits well with the next 2 quarters that deal with various elements of cultural discipleship and social issues and whatnot. And so individuals now have this opportunity for what would be a bargain compared to doing Colson Fellows separately from earning these credits with us, to work through the Colson Fellows program and also do a little bit of additional work. Really a very small amount of additional work because of how robust and rigorous the Colson Fellows program is. But a little bit of additional work that then when they finish Colson Fellows, they've also earned these graduate credits. And again, that's up to 6 graduate credits from these 2 3-credit hour classes. So we're super excited about that. Tell us a little bit about why Colson Fellows was interested in that kind of a partnership with the academic institution.
Well, there's a couple reasons. Of course, it's a validation of the quality of the content, so they, the leaders love that concept, right? But also because there's a lot of folks that are great candidates to be in the Colson Fellows program that are also doing seminary.
Yeah.
And there's no way
including some of our students here who've gone through the program.
Right, and then you can't do both at the same time.
Yeah.
Right, but unless you can get credit for it.
Yeah.
Right, and so that's part of the idea is, okay, can we get folks seminary credit so they can do seminary and the Colson Fellows program at the same time?
Yeah.
And so we rolled that out to our national group of leaders last week. There was a lot of, you could tell the excitement from the leaders because they had some folks that they thought would really be great in the Colson Fellows program. Awesome. That would also.
And that was at your annual conference for Colson Fellows?
That was at our annual Colson Fellows conference.
So we've had a couple students go through Colson Fellows, and like you said, it's so intensive to be in seminary and Colson Fellows at the same time. A lot of people would have to choose one or the other. Right. This allows them to do both. Right. And we feel like we'd love all of our students to go through Colson Fellows, so having a way for them to do that that's integrated into their degree program is just incredible.
Right. And we've got one guy in this year's class that actually was already graduated from the Bible Seminary. So okay. for you folks that have already graduated from the Bible Seminary that are looking for your next thing, maybe
check out Colson
maybe come
Fellows.
Back and you can still do Colson Fellows even without getting the seminary credit.
That's awesome. Well, Kip, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. It's been awesome. We're super excited about this partnership and looking forward to God doing great things through this work.
Yeah, we appreciate. All along, Bible Seminary has been one of our earliest supporters, so we appreciate that.
Kingdom partnerships. We are the body of Christ working together in the world. So thank you so much. Thank you, Kip. Thank you to our listeners. Encourage you to check out the Colson Fellows website here in Houston. Check out the Bible Seminary degree offerings and certificate programs, the different things that we offer. Consider prayerfully becoming a part of this opportunity, not only to become a Colson Fellow, but also to earn seminary credit, all toward the goal of being equipped for the kingdom of God to be ambassadors for Christ in the world today. Thank you.